What's up, internet? My name is Kyle, back with another video about cameras, tech, and all that good stuff. Today is a very cool video for a number of reasons. One, it is the first video in this new space we have here. Me and my girlfriend recently just moved, and I have my own dedicated kind of basement, and this is a section of the basement where I can do YouTube videos. I actually just set this up for the first time, and it feels so good because I don't have to move any of it. It can just stay as is, and I don't have to film in a living room anymore. If you want to see more about that, watch the video linked above. I'll also link it down below. I did a vlog about our move. Okay, and the second cool thing about this video is, it has to do with the title, is I got sent from Lens Rentals the a6100, and I also got sent a lens. However, this video is about the a6100 versus the a6000, and then I also want to clue you in on why I am buying the a6100. I'm finally upgrading from the a6000. I'm not getting rid of it, don't be crazy, but let's talk about the differences between the a6000 and the a6100. So I'm not going to go down the spec sheet, weight of the camera, all of those things. These cameras are very similar. However, I'm just gonna go over the differences between the a6100 and the a6000. So we're just gonna go over the new guy on the block, the a6100, and we'll go from there. So not only do we have Lens Rentals to thank for giving me that suitcase with the goodies in it, but we also have to thank Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is an online learning community. It's a learning platform where creators like myself create classes for people like you to learn new skills. And speaking of classes, I actually have one I want to recommend to you guys, and that is Simple Productivity: How to Accomplish More with Less. For me lately, I've been procrastinating like crazy with everything in my life because, the world is ending. Basically, so far, this class is, driving home how to focus on things, how to take different tasks one at a time, and a bunch of other things with other words that I've never heard before, and it is very educational. Skillshare is rather affordable when comparing to in-person classes or pricey workshops. It is under $10 a month for a yearly subscription. The first 500 of my subscribers who sign up through the link in the description will get 2 free months of premium Skillshare membership. So thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, and now let's dive in to the a6100 versus the a6000. So we're going to talk about features, and with a camera like the a6000, it came out in 2014 versus the a6100, which came out in 2019 in October, I believe. There are going to be a lot of differences with the newer camera. A lot of technology advanced. Sony thought of different things it could improve from the a6000, and the list is a little lengthy. However, throughout this video, I will probably drive home this very point that the a6000 is still a great buy in 2020. If you were watching this video to find that out, I'm telling you right now, the a6000 is still a great camera. Okay, we got a little close there. All right, now let's get into the feature list. The first thing I noticed right away with the 6100 is that the mount where you actually twist the lenses on and take them off is a lot more solid in its construction. If I had one word to describe it, it would be tight. It is very tight when you're taking lenses on and off. The a6000, especially with its kit lens, is very rattly. You can almost move it when the kit lens is, actually mounted on in place. So that was the first thing that I noticed, is that the build quality is a little bit better on the a6100. The second thing is that the menu system is a little bit different. It has more options because the a6100 has a lot more features. However, it also has a final tab that the a6000 does not have, and it's a My Menu type tab. You can kind of, quick favorite options within that page, so you can completely customize the page. However, I still kind of drive home, especially on all Sony cameras, to use the FN menu. It's the function menu where you set up 2 bars of different quick items that you want to access. So the menu system is a little different, but overall it's the same. The next thing is touch to focus. Sony has kind of been treading water over the touchscreen thing for a long time, and the a6100, along with the other newer generation a6000 cameras, the 6400 and 6600, have touch to focus. However, the touch functionality stops there. You don't get any touch functionality within the menus, which is a really great thing on, say, like the Canon M50 and other cameras that have touch sensitivity throughout different functions of the camera. I must say though, using the Canon M50 as much as I have in the past year, it is a welcome addition to have touch to focus on the a6100. The next thing is silent shooting. Now, I'm pretty impressed that this is within the 6100's feature list, because I thought, if they were anything like Canon, they probably would have left this out and kept it in the 6400 or 6600, because it is more of a premium feature for, say, a wedding photographer who doesn't want to make any noise during a ceremony. However, Sony threw in silent shooting, so it is definitely valuable for, like I said, weddings, ceremonies, even, newborn shoots or something like that, where you don't want to have this clicking device in front of a baby who may start crying or something like that. So if you're looking for a camera that is quiet, the a6100 has silent shooting. Okay, and the next thing that the 6100 has over the a6000 is better color science. Again, just like silent shooting, I was worried that it would be left out of the 6100. I mean, this has the same megapixels as the 6000, a lot of similarities, but with the features we've already talked about, this also got the upgraded color science, and I think that is great, especially for beginners who are just taking JPEGs. They're not into shooting raw images and editing them and all of that stuff. Right out of camera, nothing's gonna look off. I feel like with the a6000, sometimes things can be a little too cool toned and things like that. So you can definitely edit a JPEG, but from the 6100, the images look better than the a6000 just out of camera, shot in JPEG. The next thing is autofocus, which is, a favorite topic whenever a new camera comes out. However, this time around, I feel like it's less of a big concern because the a6000 has such great autofocus. It has 175 autofocus points on the a6000. However, on the a6100, 6400, and 6600, there's 475 autofocus points. If you don't know what that means, just know the a6100 has better autofocus capabilities than the a6000. I told myself I wasn't going to say numbers, but I had to say a number with that one. But just know autofocus is better. It's somehow better. Sony also introduced better object tracking, which is pretty crazy when you get your hands on it. Basically, in autofocus continuous, you can use this setting and it'll lock on to the object, and then it'll try and track it as best as it can as that object moves. This is incredibly useful for wildlife photographers or sports photographers, or if you have kids and they're running around like crazy, it's probably very useful. The next two things are more video focused, and that is 4K and 120 frames per second. 4K is the next step in resolution from 1080p HD. This tiny little camera shoots 4K, and it is actually a crazy downsampled 6K to 4K, and it is a great feature for this camera. However, I will probably not be using 4K because the files are a lot bigger, and I really don't need 4K for YouTube. 4K is very useful in certain aspects. You can crop in heavily on 4K and keep amazing quality, but like I said, just the bigger file sizes and also the computing power, which I forgot to mention, is something that you really need when dealing with 4K video. So for me, not very useful, but an amazing feature to put in a budget APS-C camera. Then there's 120 frames per second in video, which I am super stoked on that rather than the 4K. 120 frames per second just basically means you can film in a high frame rate and then you can slow it down and get that buttery smooth slow motion. I mean, have you ever seen a Peter McKinnon video? Case in point. Okay, these next two things are my favorite photography features that the a6100 has that the a6000 doesn't. The first one being better low light. Yes, this camera has better low light than the a6000. I was doing some tests side by side, and you could just tell the a6100 by the auto settings that it sets the camera to are better than what the a6000 does in auto settings. You're gonna get a little bit less noise. Even though they're both APS-C cameras, the 6100 has a better performance boost for low light. If you're somebody who takes pictures with auto ISO on a lot, maybe you use aperture priority mode, and you think a lot of your pictures come out a little too noisy, or maybe you're just somebody who doesn't like to correct that in post-processing or something like that, the 6100 is a great step up from the a6000 in the low light department. And then the other feature that I'm very stoked about photography wise is Animal IAF. Now, as I'm mentioning Animal IAF, it does have Person IAF, both in continuous autofocus. The a6000 has eye autofocus. I actually made a video about how to use that and how to set it to a custom button. I'll link that above and below. However, the a6000 could not distinguish between a person or an animal. On an animal, it just wouldn't find the eye. The technology literally didn't exist yet. And also on the a6000, it was in autofocus single mode only. So it was kind of a one shot focusing on the eye and taking the picture. Whereas on the a6100, 6400, and 6600, it is autofocus continuous compatible, and you can do it on people as well as animals. And I take a ton of photos of our pets, so having Animal IAF in autofocus continuous is super amazing. I can't stress how cool this feature is. Thank you, Sony. I think that is a great addition, and it makes it more attractive to people who are just starting their photography journey to, have this type of crazy technology in this little camera. Okay, so the next three things are just video related, and really they are reasons why I want to pick up an a6100, and they're geared towards this, YouTube, shooting videos, being a YouTuber. These are three things that will immediately help you make creating videos a lot easier on yourself. So one is the flip up screen. Sony didn't go the normal flip around the side screen that, Canon and Panasonic have done in the past. They went with a flip up screen, which I actually kind of like. When the 6400 was released and everybody saw the flip up screen, they were crying foul about how microphones will get in the way of it and everything like that. And people aren't wrong. That is a problem. However, there's a simple bracket that you can buy that fixes that problem and puts the microphone on the side of the screen. And I actually prefer a screen above the camera. And obviously the flip up screen makes vlogging a hell of a lot easier. I haven't used it yet for vlogging, but I will. It also helps with framing shots where you don't have a monitor on you. So the shot earlier, the slow motion with the coffee and the glass, just flipped up the screen and then I saw what the camera was seeing. It just made everything that much easier. The next thing that is so crucial for a YouTuber is a microphone jack. This might be like my number one complaint about the a6000 is that when I got it for YouTube, I didn't want to use a hot shoe mic. The hot shoe mics that are available for the a6000 are either more expensive from Sony, or I've seen reviews that, whichever one you pick, they're not the best. Better audio for your YouTube videos is more important than the video itself. I know, it sounds counterintuitive. The video you would think would be more important than the sound, but it's not the case. The sound is definitely more important. Better sound will overall improve the production quality of your YouTube channel. The a6100 has a microphone jack. You can plug in all the different type of very popular Rode microphones to the a6100 and you're off running and gunning, doing a bunch of different productions. It's just way more of a hurdle to not have a microphone jack. You can definitely use on-camera audio or even use an iPhone, use a bunch of different methods, but when a camera has a microphone jack, it just makes everything a lot easier. Okay, we have made it to the final feature that the 6100 has that the a6000 doesn't. That is my favorite feature of the 6100, and that is unlimited video recording. So part one of this is the a6100 does not overheat. The Sony a6000 does overheat, sometimes around 10 minutes, sometimes around 15 minutes, sometimes at 20 minutes, depending on your environment. The a6100 does not overheat. Now, I haven't used it in the Sahara Desert, so it may overheat in a situation like that, but just in general, video recording use, it does not overheat. It is great. And then with that said, it not shutting itself off because of overheating issues is that there is no built-in recording limit of 30 minutes. That was something that was in a bunch of, mirrorless cameras for a long time. However, that reign of terror is over. I can now just hit record, talk to the camera for an hour or as long as the battery lasts, and I don't have to stop it. I don't have to do anything. It is such a relief as a YouTuber, as somebody who sits down filming himself and doing all these different tutorials and things like that. It is a lifesaver. I don't know why more YouTubers weren't reporting about that feature with the a6100. I feel like that makes the 6100 so much more attractive for a first-time YouTuber. This camera is perfect for vlogging with its flip-up screen. No recording limit, so you don't have to stop and start it when you're out and about or worry about it overheating on a hot day or something like that. Those two things really empower this to be a creator's paradise of a camera that is less than $1,000, way less than $1,000 at this point, and it's awesome. And thank you, Sony, for including no overheating and no recording limit. That's why I'm buying this camera. So you might think, I would see no point in buying the a6000, but like I said earlier, that is not the case. The attractiveness of the a6000 is that you can get it used at like $300, maybe even less than that, but within $300 to $400, sometimes with a lens or two or something like that. And really the performance that thing gives at that type of price is really almost unbeatable. The a6100 came out in October of 2019 and it came out at $750. However, it has dropped down significantly. Right now it is $600, so it's $150 off. That's at Amazon or Best Buy, but it is even cheaper if you have a student discount through B&H. B&H is offering an education discount for the 6100 for, get this, $450, the same price of an a6000. Now, I don't know how long that's going to last. Hopefully that deal lasts a little bit longer than it takes me to edit this video, but that is an amazing killer deal. You get all of the things we talked about in this video, 4K, 120 frames per second, microphone jack, no recording limit, better colors in JPEG, better low light ability, all of those things for the same price as an a6000. It is kind of time for the 6100 to kind of take over where the a6000 was. However, Sony is still selling the a6000. It's still in Best Buy on the shelf. And like I said before, it's a great camera. I do think that the 6100 is worth the money if you're going into YouTube or video production. If I didn't say it already, I filmed this entire video on the Sony a6100. So this is what it looks like with the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens. If you're interested in any of the deals that I mentioned or either camera, I will link affiliate links down in the description. Anytime you guys go through that and purchase something, it's a huge help to the channel and it allows me to keep doing what I'm doing. Keep an eye out. There will be more videos more frequently now that I have a dedicated space and everything like that. And thank you guys so much for your support. If you got this far in the video, big thank you, because it was a long one, but it was a lot of fun making it. All right, guys, I will see you guys in the next episode. Later.